We have a combo deck mirror match, and that's a good start. Dark Beckoning Beast. Now, how far do we go here?
All the way.
I think we're going to see a pretty big field from Noel. The bigger question is, though, is this field prepared for all of those breaking cards that Julius is running even in his main deck? There is Thrust that can search the Dark Ruler no more. There is Droplets. There is Evenly Matched. What else could there even be?
Yeah, so Julius is just going to relax here, watching this cutscene before it makes it over to his turn. Because as you mentioned, there are so many deadly cards when combined with one another are going to do an incredible job of taking apart this field. And you can see that we use the double Spirit in the hand here to go into
one was an original Yubel, and the other was a Spirit, yeah. But there is Nightmare Throne as well. Oh man, Noel is a man of two-card combos, and here he goes again.
No, this absolutely should be the entire field that we have seen him perform before. It's most likely going to be Phantom, Varadras, Wave King Caesar, Desiree, Soul of Rage, and Chamber.
Yes, and one thing that might be favorable here for Julius, though, is he just beat all of that, right? We just saw him in the feature mentioned top 4. He's used to playing through Yubel fields like no one else on the tournament. His deck does that for breakfast, basically, even though it's pretty late in the evening. And Noel, on the other hand, this might realistically be the first Plants deck he's facing in this entire weekend, right?
He has an advantage, although he is European, so he has read a lot of the Rikka cards already. We have seen some slight missteps in the round before against the Rikka strategy. Let's see if Noel is familiar with all of those techniques that Julius can throw at him, because there was also in the semifinals of Yasin some pretty strong moves after having basically the entire field removed, having this negated Caesar, still going for Shavara, summoning back the Rage. That was pretty strong. Let's see how resilient Noel's field really is to the breakers of Julius.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see, and Noel, I think you can tell, is really deep into that Yubel gameplay. He's really locked in, he's in the zone, he's really focusing on every single move. And what a story it is, right? It's his first YCS top, and it goes all the way here into the finals in his home country. I mean, how could it be any better? We could see him being a first-time YCS champion instead of Julius being a two-timer, of course.
Yeah, no, I think it's really clear to see the preparation that went into this event for Noel, because watching a bunch of the Yubel feature matches throughout the course of this weekend, which you can catch up upon on the YouTube or Twitch channel, Noel has been performing these combos and sequencing in such a way that has been almost to perfection. It's been great to see him pilot this deck in such an expert way, really proving to everyone that he is the best Yubel player on the day.
Absolutely, and one thing you also got to mention is not only the combo that he did was so good against Zeki in top 8 versus the Runic White Forest deck, he also used the unconventional effects of the Fiendsmith cards so well. Like, he used them to send cards to the graveyard. He has been recycling them non-stop, and like, usually you just use them to build a big field and your opponent doesn't even have a chance to play through it. But they're also pretty good then in the later turns where they can just diminish the field of the opponent.
So we're going to continue with this combo here. We are not already there. This is going to take a little more. Let's see if we're also going to get a draw from the Necro Quip Princess to find our way into maybe another hand trap, because this is the beauty of the Yubel deck. You get all of these interactions from just 2 cards in hand. The other 3 might as well be Effect Veilers, Ash Blossoms, Nibiru the Primal Beings, or Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbits.
And last but not least, do you remember which card pretty much won him his 3rd game in top 8? It's a card that he has, not like a lot of others in the tournament, included into his main deck, and I'm talking Droll and Lockbird.
Oh yeah.
So that is a card of all times against the Rikka strategy, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And it's a card that I think a lot of people have been playing over the course of this weekend, because it's really, really strong against Yubel. There's a whole bunch of searching involved with your Yubel combo, even the throne that sometimes people can skip a step ahead. So yeah, definitely a card that's been staple throughout this weekend. Droll and Lockbird really putting in a lot of work and working really well in tandem with other archetypes as well, not just Yubel. We can see it being useful in the Runic Forest match, for example, that we witnessed.
Oh yeah.
Super popular card this weekend.
It was basically Ash for Runic Fountain Draw for 3, right?
Yeah, and also denying anything else that would happen after. So nice little add-on there. So there is Shavara that was destroying the spirit of Yubel. Did we already resolve the draw effect of Necroco Princess? Because there still is that, of course, opening on the field, which then would discard a card and make that card able to draw a card itself. But we're not there yet, I believe.
Yeah, we're getting there as we have 2 level 10s on the field here, using the Yama as part of this combo here. And that's going to be able to put the setup for Varadras, and using the optional effect of Yama to destroy the Soul of Rage, which is going to recycle back the Fiendsmith Engraver, which is a really important part of this combo, because then you use the Engraver hand effect, and that's going to further your plays. And yeah, like I said, this should be Varadras, Wave King, and Desiree.
Everything you could ever dream of, and that in game 1 of a YCS final. Noel is living the life here at this tournament, and he might be a Jubilee YCS champion. One of many precious names, to be honest. Like, those Jubilee YCSs usually had pretty big people taking it down. You talked about Samir Bakar earlier on. He definitely did one of these. Nico Schlierkamp too.
Yeah, and that Jubilee was Germany against France.
Yes, it was. Last time France coming out on top. Can Julius strike back for it?
Nico Schlierkamp was Germany versus Germany, so we also have our foot in those.
All right, we get it. German duelists are good. We know, we know.
I kind of forgot that you're not one of us.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us, Nadir. Honorable UK guy. oh, did you see that draw there? I don't know, that could actually just provide us with an extra monster on the field because we drew into the Lurry. The question is, do we really need it? I mean, it's a good discard though for the Nutcracker, isn't it?
You can just use it off of the track anyway.
Okay, yeah, true, fair.
So it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, not really the one you want to go for, so that's an issue. I mean, we could have just used the... We could have just held off on the Necroquip draw. Instead of using it in response to the Engraver, we could have just used it from the track, right? So that would have meant that we wouldn't have drawn that. So kind of lost out on a free card there. Maybe the nerves are getting to Null.
Yep, could possibly be the case. But let's see. I mean, still, it would be that full field that we have been hyping up here the entire time. Still, he would get to all the monsters that he wants on the field. It could just be that little bit extra. He could just draw that extra Ash Blossom or Effect Veil, or even draw in Lockbird, and that, of course, can be so impactful when Julius is just breaking those fields, right? Evenly onto the entire field, but still an Ash Blossom in hand might just be the nail in the coffin then.
Yeah, I think the really good thing about Yubel is that when you do get to pull off such a massive combo like this, Yassine almost showed it in the top 4 match, but yeah, you do have some tricks involving your Chamber, the Soul of Rage and Yama bringing monsters back, and of course when you do have this Desiree as well, you can respond to things like Dark Ruler with the Trap card and then chain the Desiree. We've seen that happen a couple of times throughout this weekend, so yeah, Null is going to be locked in to sequence all of his plays in such a way that he can prevent Julius from picking apart this incredible field that we've just about finished here. So I think we just need Engraver, and that should be us.
Have we used Nutcracker yet?
Yeah.
There it is. Nutcracker effect, discarding the Engraver.
Yeah.
And back we got the Shavara.
I was just 3 seconds too early. Here's the overlay, and there it is.
The last piece of the puzzle. All of the combo monsters have been summoned. Perfect field acquired by Noel. Shuffling the deck before ending the turn. It doesn't get any better than that. And now it will be on Julius. It is his turn. It is his stage now, basically, to break another field.
Yeah, so this is 7 layers of disruption here. We have 2 negates from the Wave King Caesar for summons. We have the Desiree being negating a face-up card, that's 3. We have the Varadras, that's 4. We have the Phantom of Yubel, that's 5. We have the Soul of Rage brought back from the Trap card. That's going to be into a linking off monster into Little Knights. That's 2 there, 7 altogether. And there's a normal summon Lokai.
Yeah, we're not starting off with one of those big field breakers. I was going to say, you know what would be funny right now? A Mystic Mine, but this is...
That would be funny.
Start that I haven't seen coming. I thought he was definitely going to open with one of his big interruptions, but we actually let this slide. Rise is going to get the Sunseed Sowing, and how far is he going to let Julius play until he decides to put an interruption in there? Not too far. The Caesar is going to activate. Let's see if this is followed up by something like a triple tactic talents from Julius.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was worried about. Now that a monster effect has been activated, this makes a lot of different cards live here. We can use Thrust, we can use Talents, But evenly matched might not potentially be a threat here, since we can't even go to the battle phase and crash our monster because of the Phantom.
Rikka Glamour, though, not even... I think we would have paid cost by now, so he's just using it to search one card from his deck. So, honestly, that doesn't even seem that impressive. I think for Julius, it's just one of those hands that doesn't have that much non-engine in it.
Potentially, we might just have to be playing through Yubel with good old plant cards, just a bunch of extenders and starters, and hope that that's going to get us there.
There's Princess. Of course, Princess not only an extender, but then eventually, potentially, also a disruption for the opponents.
Yeah, if we can get to some Rikka cards fairly early, then Princess is going to be able to help us to stop one of the disruptions from Null. But I mean, there's just so much here. 7 total is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, 8 really, if you think about it, including the Varadras's destruction after the negate. So much to fight through here. Yubel truly is a powerhouse. I mean, it's a 2-card combo to do this. That's monstrous.
And the best thing about the deck is the 1-card combo isn't too far off of this field if you have a really good start. Or if you just have the mediocre start. Was the whole point of what I was saying. Princess is now being activated, and of course Noel has to think about every single action that is being taken because he just has so many layers of interruption. There's so much stuff that he can do every single time. He just needs to be attentive towards the card that Julius could have, and we're just activating Caesar again, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a scary part here, because when your opponent plays so many field-breaking cards like the Thrust and the Talons that can capitalize on these monster effects activating, you can potentially just activate all of your negates and just throw them out as soon as your opponent, you know, activates a card. But I mean, you do need to kind of think about the sequencing. You know, you can't just fire off everything because it is 6 cards versus...
Okay, there is the Rikka Bloom that we're activating here, which is not necessarily the card you want to start with. It's usually better to just start with the Evil Seed, but we're going to have the one-off Rikka Bloom here instead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why plants generally tend to play a big card count in the main deck here. There's a lot of undesirable draws. There's Bloom, there's the Sunvine, Sowing, generally not good to draw. There's the Twin. In fact, if you draw the Twin, you have to learn separate combos.
Wow, we're using the Varudras on that.
And we can, in response to this, also use the Destruction effect and hit the Dryas, which... do we search out Sowing? Do you need Loci to search Sowing? Yeah, we normal summon Loci, so we can also use it to destroy the Dryas, and the Sowing hasn't been used yet. No, we did use the Sowing.
Okay,
yeah. It has just been negated, and now...
we negated the Sowing, of course.
Once more. Is that the next episode of Top 4? Because in Top 4 already, Julius had that where his opponent tried to destroy one of his Link monsters with a Ghost Ogre, and this time they tried to destroy it with Varudras, but Sowing there to save it.
So is working over hours.
Also, I'm just wondering, the Bloom is also still on the field because Varudras is not destroying the card, right?
And try to destroy the Dryas afterwards.
Yeah.
And now we're in a little bit of a
Give me a
discussion.
little read of Varadras. I want to double check that.
Varudras does in fact say you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do detach one material, yeah, it's 2 different things. It immediately goes over to the second part of the effect, so we're not destroying. So now the question is, it felt for a moment like he just immediately did it on the activation, right? That could be a little bit of a weird moment. Do we see just Julius activating the Bloom effect next? Oh.
I mean, there's just so much here, honestly. It's Soul of Rage that can be brought back here, link with the Dryas, and then destroy the Bloom banish the Bloom on Resolution with SP Little Knight potentially here, and then you still have the negate of any face-up card with the Dryas, and a monster negate with the Phantom of Yubel. So still a lot left here.
And the other banish effect of SP Little Knight to...
Yeah, and the other effect, yeah, exactly.
So that's still 3 interruptions, so still a lot.
That's 9 total, actually. We've missed one.
Thinking of SP Little Knight is here to help. And it's also going to be... Oh, we could also banish the Princess, possibly? Yeah, looks like it. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. The Bloom already has used its effect. There is no further damage that it could do. But there is the special summon of the Beetle now. That is... So we drew multiple parts of our Rikka package, and honestly that package is the smallest one of all of them, so drawing multiple pieces of that cannot be optimal, to be honest.
Yeah, again, it's just a little bit of the undesirable draws involved with plants that you just kind of have to accept when you play such a deck that has a lot of engine requirements.
Is this the first time that Julius
There's a
Schwarzkopf
Talons.
loses in the finals? He activates Talons, but there is still Desiree that can use its effect to take out 2 effects of face-up cards on the field. Talons will be one of them. Oh, we're actually just banishing.
I mean, we can still chain the Desiree, to be fair, and that is indeed what we're going to do. And we're packing things up, Noella!
Very often
Quite a
we have
lot.
seen some Dark Ruler, Droplet, evenly, unexpected die hands. Can he pull it off? No way.
No.
It is the time that the plants have stopped growing. No monsters for Julius.
No
Set to
way.
pass. Noel's turn. It is, and maybe his finals to win it is now.
That is not what you want to do with plants unless we've done some really secret smoke screening here. I mean, that is not good. That's a Samsara! The Lotus going second into a plant player who has bricked. I think Noel must be on cloud 9 here. What an incredible start this is for him.
I'm gonna be honest, Samsara the Lotus kind of is a plant, and it is going to kick off a really big combo here from Noel. The only thing that is maybe keeping Julius here in the game is that sometimes the Yubel deck struggles to deal 8,000 damage to an open field. However, after siding, Access Code Talker is most of the time a strategy that these Yubel players are trying to pull off, and that is 5,300 damage alone, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. Also, of course, Varudras being somewhat healthy in terms of attack points, so that definitely helps to at least often enough get to those 8,000 points that are required to call himself a YCS champion. Okay, Noel, he gets that Squirmer, he activates the effect of Spirit in the graveyard. The Yubel train is up and running. Noel here, now the one comboing where we expected Julius to do so.
Oh my god, that's a nightmare thrown in the hand as well. This is incredible. Noel is just... Oh, I mean, the only thing that he can really lose to is himself potentially at this point. Does Julius have something special back down there? Do we have a spicy set card?
Yeah, are there any trap cards? Torrential Tribute, maybe?
Didn't cite that one in, unfortunately. Good thrust target, potentially, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
No, but
different dimension ground would have been one of those where
Still
would have
the
been
one I
like,
can
that would have been
think
cool, but you probably would have just already activated that by now, so unlikely we're going to see it.
it's just really unfortunate. I mean, maybe just like a bluff of like a sowing with no other monster? I don't even know.
One technology that he kind of brought into the plan strategy was siding in Blink Out. That was a card that he was religiously siding in at German Nationals, and that we even saw in the featured match. It was really, really good, which is like kind of a cross-out designator substitute because it makes you dodge hand interactions like Valor and Imperm. But of course, when you don't have any cards, it might be problematic. But of course, you can use it defensively against opponent's card as well. So that could be one of the cards we're looking at here.
I mean, maybe there's a world where he has Nibiru in hand. Julius plays 1 in 60 as a cross-out target. I don't know. Not really going to be good here. We've already established Phantom, so...
Maybe Blink Out and then the Nibiru after. I can see a couple of scenarios where this works.
Blink Out can't be used on Phantom of Yubel.
Oh, it's just a Link monster. Oh,
so I think
you're
we're
right.
maybe waiting for an access code talker, and on resolution,
True.
you are trying to blink it out and summon back a 0 attack point monster.
Oh my.
It's a good idea, yeah.
What do we have here? We didn't
Nightmare.
use a Cosmic Cyclone or Nightmare Pain, so I don't think there is one. Oh my,
This
we're
is
destroying
looking
Yubel.
grim for Julius, but if I have learned anything from watching those matches, from casting those tournaments, those YCSs, the German Nationals, never count out Julius Schwarzkopf.
That is true. Also, do we think that Book of Eclipse still is in the main deck of Julius? He's running 3 of those in the main deck, so is he after siding still having those in going first against Yubel? Could be, I want to say.
But yeah, there is a lot of cards in the main deck that aren't good going first. So, I mean, we have an entourage of different things that we could bring in, like triple cross out, the blink out, the called by, the DDG. Maybe like, and then all of the cross out targets. So that could replace everything, and then you keep talents in maybe. I don't know.
Definitely do. Okay, we do go for Requiem.
We're really grasping at straws here, trying to find something for Julius to try and live this turn. I mean, it's just so unfortunate that you have just played this one-card combo deck that beats anything, really. I mean, there's nothing that stops a single Lokai, going second, that is. And yeah, it's just set to pass. It's really, really unfortunate. Didn't even have to try fighting through hand traps.
I think if that was a Book of Eclipse, you maybe just activated on the summon of the Samsara the Lotus, just because you're already in a very bad position, so you kind of have to go for the high rolling play and saying, hey, there is no follow-up.
Bird of Yubel back to the field through the effect of Squirmer. And Julius, he looked like he was considering something, but we keep seeing Noel activating cards here.
Droplet Nibiru. Droplet Resolve Nibiru.
Maybe?
Very important. Blank space in between.
Really coming up with every possible combination here, you know, just to try and figure out how Julius can win this.
Yeah.
It's going to get so bad we're going to start talking about things like Battle Fader.
I mean, yeah.
I have been Battle Fader this weekend.
How did you get Battle Fader this week? Oh, of course, you were.
2010 match versus Anthony Lopez.
There is the Anguish now, and when the Anguish came in from the side deck, there is just very, very, very big reason to believe that there also is access code Talker as it is being summoned here. Is Julius going to do anything here? He has to. Oh wait, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. A little quick there.
And we have committed to a Link summon there, so we do have to send these off for a Fiend here.
I'm not entirely sure whether that's how it is handled.
That is definitely how that's handled. Nothing being checked here, but oh wow, we have a Nibiru droll.
Okay, Noel was also prepared, yeah.
Maybe Julius wasn't playing anyway, so who knows?
So we are linking off now as a Shavara, making sure that we are not locked into those Fiend monsters anymore as we summon out Rage.
Since when is he playing an Unchained deck?
That's more Unchained monsters on the field than Yubel right now, if you think about it.
Okay, Engraver now coming back, making sure. I don't think we want to link off the Rage, but now the question becomes, do we even get to 8,000 points of damage now?
No, you definitely have 8,000. You just trying to do it in such a efficient way that you don't accidentally play into something a little ridiculous.
Are we going to see Blink out here on resolution?
Here we go.
Is this
Access
actually
code
going to happen?
Target.
We're blinking it out.
It is
Okay,
blink out.
that is some more time that Julius is buying himself there through his blink out.
Gotta pick up the card and read it, of course. I mean, how often do you see this?
Yeah, it's a pretty neat addition from Lille, I'm pretty sure. So recently introduced to the game, and in Rikka it is actually possible to use it aggressively but also defensively, as we can see here.
But now the thing is, you can't really summon back a rather not optimal Yubel card here. You're giving your opponent back the Engraver in this situation, or do you summon anything back?
I think what's clear here is that Julius might actually get another turn. I think a lot of materials have been committed into summoning out this access code Talker, so I don't think we're going to find 8,000 anymore. So it's just how much damage control can Noel do.
You decide. Yeah, Julius could have given him a monster.
It summons from your graveyard.
Yeah.
So you don't give him anything. This
the idea is the idea is you bounce away your Dryas if they negate it, and then you can bring back Lokai.
I thought it was the material was just summoned back from the graveyard, but it has to be from your graveyard, and if there is nothing in your graveyard, you just remove the access code.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also optional. Yeah, like you don't have to special summon. That's the whole point of it. Yeah, so you just say, hey, access code Talker back to the extra deck, and it's all good.
This is compulsory evacuation device,
basically.
In 2024. Just a little better and a little more suited towards Link monsters.
Baldrake, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
interesting. We want the damage.
That's a odd choice into plants. I mean, maybe you just put in as many hand traps as possible, as just humanly possible. You just shove everything you have in just to stop plants from going first. Even if it's a random light monster in the grave that maybe could be relevant.
And now we're going to target one of our own monsters in the graveyard, of course. And I mean, there's plenty of light and dark monsters, so that should work.
Maybe also, if you have another bestial in hand, you can use the Baldrake effect to tribute something else to get rid of an extra.
Oh, but there is Nibiru!
No. But, I mean, there is Phantom of Yubel.
So that has to be... Is it maybe called by the grave that Julius is having there? That would be a massive combination.
Wow.
That could be the one saving him here.
Called by for Phantom? This is a plot twist.
I figured he would have activated on the Samsara de Lotus at the beginning of the turn, to be honest, but that could very well be true here.
Could be holding the patience.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
We're just
There's no targets?
Resolve?
Things are happening here at the YCS
The field is gone! What is going on?
Did we use all of our Phantom targets? There has to be some in deck.
There's just no way. We're looking through the graveyard. Furiously trying to figure out what's going on, using the effect of Nightmare Throne now, and all of a sudden Julius has more powerful monsters on the field than his opponent.
Which can be problematic in this matchup.
true, he actually summoned that in attack position, which is interesting to see, because that's immediate 3,000 points of damage there just through that Yubel. And Phantom of Yubel is a card that he's running free of, so we could probably see another one of those too.
Okay, we can still try and advance a little bit here. We have summoned out regular Yubel.
All right, yeah, 3,000 points of damage. We are going to have another turn for Julius. He's going to get that Destiny draw from the top of his deck. And he's back into this, still hanging in.
Is it going to be Lokai? Even if that is the case, there is Droll and Lockbird. There is Nibiru the Primal being on the side of Noel. Can you beat that? And another set spell and trap card. Julius is going to have to find a big trick in his sleeve. Let's see if he has it.
Okay, destroying the Nibiru token in the end phase, so Yubel is going to stay on the field. Human Winds activated in the end phase, and we have less life points now, so Julius wanted them to attack there into that Yubel. That's why he put it into that Nibiru, that's why he put it into attack position, giving his opponent incentivized to deal damage. And here we are.
Oh no, you can just always add. You just get, if you are lower at life points, you can gain 500 back.
Alright, yeah, even better. But yeah, no, true, the one thing always leads you to the other, you're completely right.
Honestly, it's unbelievable to have the patience to hold Nibiru for that long, to the point where you're just going to essentially wait till your opponent doesn't have the Yubel in the deck, and then you negate, then you drop the Nibiru. That's wow.
And I mean, that is now confirmed. There is no Yubel in the deck of Noel, and therefore he was not able to activate the effect of Phantom of Yubel, and therefore that was a crazy point of dropping that Nibiru, because you have to realize that, right? You have to realize there is just right now nothing they can do against it, and therefore perfectly timed. At not even 18 years, a veteran of the game already, isn't he?
Oh yeah, impressive. I think...
And honestly, I'm here for the storyline now. Julius almost out, but now really back into this.
He's the main character.
Absolutely, he is the main character, and he's now finally able to also summon plant monsters to his side of the field. Okay,
so just confirmation from the judges, it was indeed a slow play warning, which I think has resulted in an extension, but it's not going to be an upgrade.
Perfect. Laurel on the field, which is an upgrade for Julius, though, because that's now 2 plant monsters on the field. And we keep on going.
All right, so what can we do here? Rosalina plus Laurel. We can go immediately into Jasmine and get a search, but this will be a little bit rough for the Droll and Lockbird, or is that going to be enough? Do we need just one single search?
Let's see, it's activating Laurel in the graveyard.
Okay, so gain 500 life. Trigger the Jasmine. When you gain life, you can use the effect to search a plant monster from your deck.
Gotta call it. If we search a plant monster after that, Droll and Lockbird is probably going to be dropped, and then we're going to see maybe even Crossout Designator into...
True. I mean, there's a lot of cards in his hand that, like, you know, Julius went first, 5 cards, none of them were usable. It could just be something like Crossout Talent Thrust to be able to switch on off of a monster effect.
There's the Princess now, and there is the Droll and Lockbird. Let's not forget that Nibiru, just under that Jasmine in the zone it points to, can be tributed to summon out another plant from the deck, because that doesn't need to be a plant monster. So there's already potential for extension through that Droll and Lockbird.
Yeah, and it's just a question of how much can the plant deck do while under Droll and Lockbird. Checking the grave to make sure that there's nothing else spooky here waiting for Julius, as he is almost, at least from his perspective, uninhibited in proceeding with this turn, except for the fact that we cannot search. Will that be a big deal? We did get the Princess, I believe, right?
Does he have another? I think he had Humid Winds as a chain when he has another card in his deck, so he can not use Humid Winds in the draw phase, but chain into the Droll and Lockbird. That is a pretty smart reaction from Julius at this point.
That definitely is. And also one thing that you might consider, we did not set a card with the Shavara as far as I remember. So either you assume they sided out the trap card going second, which is valid to assume, or you assume that that is the set card we see there, which right now wouldn't do a whole lot. Wait, he's playing with Chamber, so actually the Rage in the graveyard could be good. So if it is the Unchained Trap, it might be very, very good, actually.
I think once my opponent starts doing the graveyard dance like that, I start to think that maybe they don't have anything. But it could be the cool poker face of Null, because there is still a Primal Being looming in that hand.
There is.
There seems to be no talents.
Yeah, nothing used as of yet. We are going to use the Jasmine to tribute the Nibiru, bringing out Snowdrop.
Oh, Noel wants to clarify on the situation. Is he just going to do something here? What is it?
Are we already in Nibiru range? We had the normal summon?
Nah.
This is summon number 4 here.
4, yeah.
Oh, but now Princess.
This is 5, and
And
this
it will
is,
be on the
oh,
field.
Wow, this is insulating Nibiru now, right?
Oh,
Can you
no.
use Princess from field, or is it hand grave
No,
only?
you cannot. That is the Nibiru. It was huge for Julius, but now it's also there for Noel.
The Primal Being is activated in response to the summon of Rikka Princess here, and as you mentioned, you can't use it on the field.
And even if he had a designated for that one, the one Nibiru that he's running is in the graveyard.
You are correct, yeah.
True.
Oh, wow. I mean, what's left here? We're under Droll. We've been nibbed. We've used our normal summon. We've used Princess. Oh, this is really rough.
It's a toughie. He
Yeah,
has so
and
many
the throne
cards in
triggers.
hand.
Even the throne triggers, because the throne, of course, the throne does not care whether
True.
it was your opponent or yourself removing the monster from the field.
There is a lot going on for Noel. He also has the follow-up in the graveyard. He has the Nightmare Pain. It is looking good for him if Julius does not find another
We have
way
to
into the
attack
game.
into the Terror Incarnate as of now, right? So that could be insane. Isn't that just... How big is that token?
It is Snowdrop's attack plus Jasmine's attack and Princess's attack.
So I think Princess does
They're
not
quite
have that
low.
many attack, yeah, but... I mean, Jasmine
Snowdrop
does
is
have
1,000.
1800.
What else do we have?
1800, so the
Snowdrop
Snowdrop
is
is 12, so that's 3k. How much is the
3,000.
Princess? I think it's
0.
lower. Okay, yeah,
Okay, so we aren't going to just... That would be a poetic end.
Yes.
Ramming into a Yubel monster for the loss. Yeah, wow.
To be honest, if you pass the turn after this, you're just going to lose into
Exactly.
the battle phase.
All right, we're going to summon Lily Borea. That's an extender.
Okay, yep, indeed it is.
Wow.
We didn't have that available to us previously because we couldn't get a plant into the graveyard.
We can't search for the Discolosseum. Keep in mind, we're still under Droll
That
and
is
Blockbird.
true.
How much does that do? We have a
Is
token
putting
with
it
Lily Borea.
in defense is... I mean, it doesn't really matter,
And
right?
I mean, I just... Okay,
Oh,
okay,
Mudan.
okay.
Can't
Mudan is
search anything
huge.
as well.
Medan sets Concon, or does she search? She searches Concon, right?
It's adding a card.
Yeah. Oh, there's a triple technic thrust, of course, also
can
only
set
able to set
sheets?
it. And I just realized, though, the Terror Incarnate, the effect is going to do the additional damage, isn't it? We have to attack into it. Nightmare Pain plus with Terror Incarnate. I think it is already doing the damage all by itself. Because it is the final form, the Terror Incarnate. Oh, we're setting the impermanence. Let's see how this one goes down.
So do we take Nightmare Pain damage and Terror Incarnate damage?
I would assume so, but let's see how it turns out here. Because we will have to head into the battle phase very, very soon.
Okay, so remember, this token is 3,000 attack here. You
Yeah.
do need to enter the battle phase.
I think he's just telling him all about it. He will have to go into the battle phase.
Battle phase,
Attacking.
attack Terror Incarnate.
Oh, what are we doing here? We're shuffling up.
Oh my.
Noel is explaining
Effective
to him.
Incarnate.
That's how it is, right? We're grabbing the Terror Incarnate. There is
no.
additional damage being applied
This is
by
it.
that card.
This is
Yubel
it.
itself is going to end it all here. The final form of Terror Incarnate is going to
And there it is.
Noel!